Could Donald Trump really be about to rip up plans for the 2026 Football World Cup?
I would call Johnny, the head of FIFA, who's phenomenal, and I would say, let's move it to another location.
In 2026, the world expected one nation to rise above all others. But destiny had other plans. 3 countries began this journey together, but only 2 proved they were ready. In 48 hours, the balance of power shifted. The matches that define legends, the stadiums that echo through history, the moments watched by billions, all moved across the borders. Canada stepped forward with precision. Mexico roared with tradition. And the football world watched in disbelief as the spotlight moved away from the United States. This is not just a schedule change. This is a continental revolution. The question now is simple. Who controls the future of North American football? And what comes next when the unexpected becomes reality? The African Web brings you the story the world wasn't ready for. Subscribe now before the next shockwave hits. No one expected the football world to be turned upside down overnight. For years, fans believed the 2026 FIFA World Cup would be centered around one country, the United States. With massive NFL stadiums, billion-dollar infrastructure projects, unmatched broadcasting influence, and a sports industry that operates like a global business empire, America appeared to be the natural powerhouse of the tournament. The assumption became so familiar, so widely accepted, that it was rarely questioned. But then, everything changed in just 48 hours. FIFA released a revised hosting plan that stunned fans across the planet. The largest, loudest, most prestigious matches, the ones that elevate players into icons, were taken out of American hands and given to Canada and Mexico. Suddenly, the semi-finals, the high-stakes knockout rounds, and the heart-stopping clashes that define generations were no longer American events. They were Canadian and Mexican moments waiting to happen. And instantly, the world asked a single, burning question. How did the United States lose control of its own tournament? To find the answer, we return to 2022 when the football world celebrated a historic decision. For the first time ever, 3 nations, the United States, Canada, and Mexico, were selected to share hosting responsibilities for the World Cup. It was a bold step from FIFA, a symbolic message that cooperation across borders could produce the biggest and most ambitious World Cup in history. With 48 teams and 104 matches, many believed this would be a perfect formula. On paper, roles seemed obvious. The United States would lead. It had the size, the stadiums, the commercial power. Canada would support, organized, efficient, but not expected to shine. Mexico would preserve tradition, the only nation in the trio with deep World Cup heritage. But hidden beneath the excitement was a test none of the countries fully understood. A test that would reveal not who looked ready, but who truly was ready to host the world. From the beginning, the United States stood in the center of every prediction. With stadiums larger than some European cities and a sports culture built on entertainment, experts believed America would command the stage. Cities like Dallas, Los Angeles, and New Jersey were projected to host the tournament's biggest matches. Analysts confidently placed the semifinals inside American arenas, assuming it was a foregone conclusion. But football is unpredictable. What looks guaranteed on paper can crumble under real pressure. And behind the scenes, cracks began to form, cracks small at first, but powerful enough to shift the entire tournament. As FIFA's inspection teams traveled across the continent, surprising weaknesses began to surface in U.S. preparations. Host cities struggled to finalize renovation plans. Construction progress slowed. Bureaucratic hurdles grew. Local government disputes delayed stadium upgrades. Sponsorship agreements clashed with FIFA's rules. Security frameworks required multiple rewrites. Every delay added weight to a growing concern. The American machine was powerful, but not efficient. FIFA needed precision and reliability. Instead, they encountered complication after complication. The country expected to lead suddenly didn't look as ready as everyone believed. Meanwhile, two unexpected contenders quietly and confidently rose into the spotlight. Canada and Mexico, initially seen as supporting players, delivered their preparations with extraordinary discipline and speed. Toronto completed its upgrades ahead of schedule. Vancouver impressed FIFA with one of the most detailed and modern security designs in recent tournament history. Mexico's legendary Azteca Stadium, a cathedral of football, underwent a modernization project that blended history with cutting-edge technology. Monterrey and Guadalajara checked every requirement early, from pitch quality to infrastructure. Transportation systems were expanded. Fan operations were polished. Hotels and airports prepared months ahead of time. And with every inspection report FIFA received, the message was clear. While the United States offered assurances that things would eventually fall into place, Canada and Mexico delivered results with no need for explanation. The moment everything shifted happened behind closed doors. Inside a private meeting in Doha, FIFA officials compared the latest reports from all three hosts. The difference between the countries was undeniable. 7 American host cities had missed their deadlines. Several projects were over budget. Political disputes forced delays. Meanwhile, every Canadian and Mexican city passed its inspections early. FIFA faced a choice. Should they reward expectations or reward execution? The answer came quickly. Quiet adjustments began appearing in the internal drafts of the match schedule. A quarterfinal originally planned for Dallas quietly moved to Mexico City. A knockout match expected for New Jersey was reassigned to Toronto. And then came the decision that sent shockwaves across the globe. One of the semi-finals, the most prestigious match outside the World Cup final, was officially moved to Canada. When the final hosting plan was released, the world saw the truth laid bare. This wasn't about politics or favoritism. Canada and Mexico simply performed better, and FIFA rewarded them for it. Now, as the countdown to June 2026 grows louder, the football world must adjust to a new and unexpected reality. The emotional heart of the World Cup will no longer beat in the United States. It will pulse through Canadian and Mexican cities. Toronto's skyline will open the broadcast for a semi-final match, watched by billions. Mexico City's Azteca Stadium will roar like a living thunderstorm during knockout rounds. Canada will host the biggest sporting moment in its history, elevating its football culture into global relevance. Mexico will revive its historic World Cup magic, reconnecting with memories that span generations. The United States will still host dozens of matches, drawing huge crowds, but the center of gravity has shifted undeniably and permanently. This reshuffling is bigger than just a change in stadium locations. It is a transformation of identity, culture, and power within North American football. Canada and Mexico proved that preparation, organization, and unity can outperform size, reputation, and financial muscle. They earned FIFA's trust not with promises, but with delivery, consistent, disciplined, and passionate. When the first whistle blows in 2026, the world will witness a continent transformed. A region once dismissed as a football follower will become the stage the world watches first. And the question remains, what happens next? Will Canada build on this momentum and cement itself as a rising football nation? Will Mexico transform this opportunity into a new golden era? And will the United States reclaim its influence? Or watch as its neighbors lead the revolution? The reshuffling of the 2026 World Cup is more than a change in stadium locations. It is a seismic shift in North American football identity. Canada and Mexico didn't just step into the spotlight, they seized it. While the world assumed the United States would dominate, it was Canada's flawless planning and Mexico's electric football heritage that rose above every expectation. In a region once defined by predictable power dynamics, two nations rewrote the script. Not through talk, not through reputation, but through pure execution. As the countdown to June 2026 grows louder, The emotional heart of the tournament is already beating far beyond American borders. Toronto is preparing for the biggest sporting moment in its history, ready to host a semi-final watched by billions. Mexico City's Azteca is set to roar with a raw, unmatched football energy that no modern arena can imitate. These cities aren't just hosting matches, they're creating history. The world will watch as two nations once labeled supporting hosts become the new architects of football's greatest spectacle. And now, a simple truth stands unchallenged. The center of gravity in North American football has shifted forever. The United States will still play its part, but the leadership of the future belongs to those who proved themselves when it mattered most. Canada and Mexico earned their moment, and the world will soon see exactly why. If you want more stories that reveal the hidden power moves shaping global sports, politics, and culture, make sure to subscribe to The African Web, where the truth behind the headlines finally comes to light.